president-elect has not complained about what might be a flat-out insult from the outgoing administration of President Bush. More on that with the reporter who broke this story and this sorry tale connected to it, Margaret Carlson, presently. 2 weeks from today, in our number one story, an inauguration guaranteed to be momentous with the imprint of history and tailored to set a new tone from a new president, preceded by a train procession, a public concert at the Lincoln Memorial, and a day of community service. Then the inauguration, and that night, the inaugural balls. The Presidential Inaugural Committee today formally announcing a first-ever youth ball with reduced ticket prices, a neighborhood ball, which will welcome D.C. residents, and the military ball, which will be broadcast for the first time worldwide. A total of 10 festivals. Most non-security costs of the inauguration funded privately. The Inaugural Committee having raised more than $24 million towards a goal of $40 to $45 million. Meantime, House Speaker Pelosi has confessed that her own grandchildren are going to be skipping her swearing in favor of Obama's. But the spit in the punch bowl, the Bush administration's claim that Blair House was unavailable to the Obamas until January 15th due to prior bookings. Let's turn now to Bloomberg News political columnist and the Washington editor of The Week magazine, Margaret Carlson. Good evening, Margaret.
Good evening, Keith.
So the Obamas are in a hotel for now, admittedly a lovely hotel, for another 9 days because the Bush administration says Blair House is unavailable. But as I've been hinting, you have information that suggests that's not entirely correct.
Well, I reported, but also the Washington Post reported on December 11th and 12th that there were no foreign dignitaries booked into Blair House during that period of time. It turns out that a former Prime Minister of Australia is going to be staying there overnight soon. However, not only is he a former, but I have the feeling they asked him to come and stay so that there might be some plausible reason for not letting the Obamas stay there. You know, Blair House looks small, but it's actually 119 rooms with 35 bathrooms. Howard wouldn't even have to share a sink with the Obamas. There's a dry cleaning, a florist, a beauty salon. There's everything there. It's a little town. But most importantly, it's secure. By having to stay at the Hay Adams, not only do the Obamas have to move twice, which no one likes to do, but the security cost to taxpayers is enormous because the area a block away from the White House is totally cordoned off with Jersey barriers and police cars and buses to keep it blocked off. And downtown is already completely jammed because so much of it is cordoned off. It would have been a small thing for the Bushes to say yes. They still have control over Blair House, and they decided to say no.
As one caveat here, given how unpopular John Howard is in Australia at the moment, it's possible that he's coming here to seek political asylum, so he might need the whole place.
Right. But, and that no hotel would take him.
Exactly. But what startles me, as what has startled me with so much of this administration, how could the Bush administration possibly think all this wouldn't get out?
Well, it doesn't matter that much anymore when we're being left with our retirement funds, losing 50% of their value, and we're mired in 2 wars, one of which was unnecessary. Saying there's no room at the inn to the Obamas, is just a feather next to all of that.
To turn to the brighter subject here, the inaugural ball, the 10 of them here, a common modern facet of the day's events. But is there a risk, given what you just described here, that it's a poor match with the present circumstances in the country?
Well, given the circumstances, the inaugural committee is trying to tamp down some of the excesses of balls past so that there's... I think the best ball they're doing is the Commander-in-Chief's ball, which is open for free. Most of the balls cost money to go to all enlisted military and any wounded veterans who can make it. And Obama will be going to that one, of course. And that will be shown, in bases all around the place that will be beamed out of Washington. Then there's the neighborhood ball, which is at the D.C. Convention Center. And that I think of as like meetup.org, where you're supposed to be having balls on your own street corners and church basements and high schools. At the same time, the neighborhood ball is going on in the convention, and they're going to try to beam that into different places. And then young people get a cut rate ball. Instead of the usual $150, they're $75. And they haven't released who's going to perform. But one of the problems with these balls, Keith, is I went to the two Clinton balls as a reporter, is that it's like a birthday party where the guest of honor doesn't show up, or he shows up for a second, so you're just standing around. But the entertainment is supposed to be very, very good, so that the absence of Obama for more than a few minutes won't be so noticeable.
Plus, if you're having one of those neighborhood balls, apparently John Howard is available as your special guest if you need him.
Right.
Margaret Carlson.
Fresh from Blair House.
Indeed. Of Bloomberg News and The Week magazine. Thank you for that, and thank you for this, as always. That's Countdown for this, the 2068th day since the declaration of mission accomplished in Iraq.